Firstly, just to pick up Ashok's point that Wood Green is widowed, and that is how it does feel to some degree, because he was married to Wood Green, and we could see in the presentation here tonight, in his own words, just what a huge love he had for Wood Green. And I wanted also to pick up the point about he was a coach, Narendra the coach, and how proud of the Youth Parliament, and has done since, representing Haringey. And of course, SEMA. And when we had the London Regional Conference in February, SEMA was on her way back from it to the social event that we held, and I was sat next to him, and he showed me his phone and he said, "Look, SEMA's won another position." And just the pride, it was as though he'd won it, and it was really moving. And I thought, he's a coach, he's a sort of a life coach, and I know that we'll all really miss his one-to-ones. As he said to myself and David Lammy shortly after the 2018 election, he said, "Look at London councils, 32 London boroughs. Haringey once again sending a black leader to sit round that big table at London councils." And that pride, it didn't have to be him, but it was a black leader, and that's what mattered. And I think that's what is coming very much back to us here as we sit around and remember him. The campaigner, and in this particular context, for myself with the 10 wards which make up Hornsey and Wood Green, because originally when Joyce Butler was the MP, it was just Wood Green, but of course the seat is Hornsey and Wood Green. And Knoll Park, the heart of it, was 41 Darwin Road. And put your hand up if you've been to the committee room in Darwin Road, lots of hands go up. He was the heart of the campaign right through until when his health wasn't the best. He would open his doors from 6 AM, because polls open at 7, right through until when polls close at 10. And he would say at 9:55, "Go out and do another round. Go back and do the Sandlings. Go back and do the Knoll Park estate. You haven't finished yet." Ever the campaigner. And finally, the health advocate. For those of us who came into the party a little bit later, during the more technocratic phase when Labor has been in government, perhaps haven't had the struggles that many of the older black section have had, but having to translate that into policy, into implementation, into excellent public services. And we hope that will be our next job when Jeremy is the leader, the PM, I should say. But Narendra was a very eloquent chairman of the Whittington Hospital, and as the then leader of the opposition on Islington Council, which had 11 Labor councillors and let me do the maths, something like 38 Lib Dem councillors. We were very much a minority, and as a new leader, it was a bit like bald men fighting over a comb. Nobody wanted to be the leader of a group of 11 Labor councillors. That's not very good. And so as leader, Narendra reached out to me and said, "Come and have one of your Labor group meetings at the Whittington Hospital. I'll give you a tour, I'll talk you through all the investment which the Labor government is putting into more doctors, more nurses, cutting down on the waiting lists, prioritising mental health, looking after older folk." And that was the message from him as the leader in the health sector, that the investment was crucial, and of course the capital investment, new wards, new equipment, new facilities, new ambulances. It was a real time of growth, and it was Narendra's job to lead that, including a very controversial non-smoking policy. Does anyone here remember when they first introduced no smoking in the Whittington? Yeah, and he had to bring that in, and he did that with his usual strength. Finally, as originally an Antipodean and understanding the negativities of colonisation, we do, however, have to remember that cricket is one thing that we can lean back on in hard times. And Narendra sometimes wouldn't sleep that well at night, so in the morning when I'd see him, he'd always have the cricket scores as to which part of the country cricket was being played in. So I thought there was nothing like this little quote. "There's a breathless hush in the close tonight, 10 to make and the match to win, a bumping pitch and a blinding light, an hour to play and the last man in. to Narendra, son of Africa, son of Asia, widow of Wood Green, or we are widowed, Londoner, Haringey legend, our last man in.